Now last video we completed Brick Breaker. It was our first game using Minecraft as a game engine, and overall it went pretty well. A lot of that video though was me simply doing some base code and just getting things set up so that way we can make more of these games in the future. Well, it is finally time to come to our second game, and instead of trying to dive into something else big and complex, I wanted to kind of build upon what we'd made last video to make a game that we've actually already made in Discord, and that is going to be Minesweeper. Now, because I had previously made this, albeit in JavaScript instead of Java, this went overall pretty quick for me. It only took me just over a stream, and I'm pretty happy with the results, but it was pretty quick, so there's nothing too complex. Less it might be just a review off of the previous Discord playing Minesweeper in Discord video, but at any rate, here is the Minesweeper game that we made. So in order to make Minesweeper, the first thing we need is a game background or just a main tile set for what our tile is going to be. We ended up choosing just plain wool to start, which was just either white or dark gray, depending upon if it was revealed or not revealed. And then for the flags and the numbers, we started on the banners, but they were kind of weird because they were too tall. It didn't really work out, but in the end, we found these Minecraft player heads, which had the numbers on them that we could then use for 1 through 9, or 1 through 8 actually. And then if we couple that together with a regular wool block as the head of an armor stand, we got this, which in the end was actually looked pretty cool. So to take this, we would just need to make this simply in a grid, as you would see it behind, and just stack all these armor stands next to each other. That way you would only see the heads and the squares there and nothing else. By making the armor stand invisible, by also giving it the glowing status effect, which is this little white box you'll see around it, as well as making the armor stand what's called a marker, which simply just doesn't render or makes the hitbox of the armor stand be essentially nothing, we get a hover or an outline effect of just the wool block and don't see the armor stand at all. This outline effect will actually be used to show you which block or which tile you're currently hovered over while you are looking through the Gameboard and the Minesweeper Gameboard and trying to choose out which tile you want to reveal or flag. So after simply coding up the ability to put these armor stands in what they're wearing in a grid format, we get this, which is simply just a plain gray background because all the armor stands have gray wool on their heads that you will then use as the start or the kind of main game board for a Minesweeper game. Next up is to implement that glowing selection box effect that I just showed you before, to where we can show you which tile or which armor stand you're currently hovering over to know which one you're going to make your action on. Now this was a bit of a challenge. I originally just wanted to do ray tracing or just shoot a ray out and figure out which armor stand that ray went through. However, to make this all more not server friendly, but make this all more low impact, these armor stands don't exist on the server. They are simply being sent to the client as packets. That way the client thinks there's an armor stand there, when in reality there really isn't one there. The server does not know anything about this tile entity, so unfortunately showing a ray out to know which armor stand which armor stand you're trying to interact with didn't work. So that provided a huge barrier, but in the end what we ended up doing is we ended up just using the player's yaw, which is their rotation around the y-axis, so that's going to be your looking side to side, and their pitch, which is looking up and down, to figure out, based upon those maths, which armor stand would they be looking at. Now this, in the end, or even in this live version after this is all done, is still a bit finicky. It's not perfect math, but it's enough to where it's close enough, and that coupled with the fact you can also go into F1, which is simply to not show any UI or HUD, mixed with the fact there's also a selection box, I feel like it's good enough for the time being, and maybe in the future I'll come back to and kind of make it a little more precise, but for the moment, that is that. So now that we have the ability to know where we are going to act, the next step is to actually act upon what the user wants to do depending on which tile they're looking at. And to do that, I simply ripped off my own uncover code from the Discord bot. So if you want to know how this kind of tile uncovering process works, you can go to the Discord Plays Minesweeper video, which will be linked here, and check out the more kind of in-depth, maybe a little bit more in-depth analysis about how this method works. But in the end, basically just took that code, ripped it off, converted it from JavaScript into Java, and we had a working uncover method here that would uncover the tiles based upon the user's selection. So after implementing the uncover code, we now have working Minesweeper, which looks very underwhelming when you forget to add bombs. So I went and added the bombs in, just some kind of few in here. It didn't really matter how much it was. I wanted it to just be a little amount. That way when I revealed it like this, you could literally just see the reveal process. It would reveal the entire boards minus the bombs, just to get a proof of concept that my code that I converted from JavaScript actually worked. And then after adding some polishing tweaks, like adding in TNT when you select a bomb, as well as giving the player a stick, that way they can right click onto air and then actually make that mark tiles as a flag, we get a playable Minesweeper right here. Now I know I scoped over kind of a lot of the smaller details like the losing and winning scenarios, mainly because again I already kind of covered that in the last video, which was the Discord plays Minesweeper. So again, if you're interested more in the some details I skipped over here, feel free to check that video out. But in the end, here we go, Minesweeper in Minecraft. This is it. I mean, you can literally play the game. Again, the selection box of where it's on your crosshair is a bit finicky, so you have to make sure that you kind of get it right. But in the end, all the logic is here, everything works, and we have Minesweeper. Now, because this was pretty short to do, I did want to do one more thing, and that was to add difficulty to this. So you could choose the difficulty of the game you wanted to play in Minesweeper. In this case, easy, medium, or hard, or even to make your own custom one, which is simply to make your own size the game board, so you can choose it width and height, as well as how many bombs are going to be on the map. All said and done, after adding the command in to then accept those arguments, we are able to get custom and different sized game boards depending upon what you selected. And there we go, Minesweeper is now 100% complete with the base game as well as adding different difficulties. We are done. Now just some like housekeeping things before this ends. I do want to give one more thanks to Nodecraft, who again we have partnered with for this project. This whole plugin is up on a server live right now, so you can go play Brickbreaker as well as now Minesweeper on the server. Thanks to them very, very much for providing this. Thank you for helping me on this project. Very, very much appreciated. And in addition to that, it was in the last video, I just don't think I mentioned it, but there are leaderboards. So I did make leaderboards for these games, so that way when you play them and win them, you will get your score added to the leaderboard. And then when you are in the main kind of lobby area, which is that 3x3 bedrock platform, you will see armor stands, which are invisible, that have the leaderboard scores around you. So now there is a leaderboard for, of course, Brickbreaker from video 1, but there are now 3 more leaderboards added for here for the top users who get the lowest times in each of the 3 difficulties. So easy, medium, hard. The top 10 fastest solve times will also be there. So again, that is also one more thing that's there. But at any rate, there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys all next time for our next game that we have that's already been started. If you're not following me on Twitch, it's been started as of this video, so feel free to follow me out there. But again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.